this is a game that should be played every year. A worst case scenario, every other year. I know we're starting, we're starting to get it on the schedule, but to me, this is good for college football, especially with chances that maybe we could end up in the same conference, which I have absolutely no problem with. But this is going to be a heck of a football game. A lot of recruiting. I mean, just the intersections of recruiting. I mean, this is a massive game, and I think it happens to no better two schools than Clemson and Georgia.
So, do we all agree on that? These two teams should be playing every year, or at least every other year.
Absolutely, Mark, and I'll add on to what Brian said there. I think it needs to be happening on the campuses. As much as I'm really looking forward to seeing these two teams on the same field in Charlotte here before too long, I really would rather see them play between the hedges and in Death Valley. I think that's, I think when Georgia fans and Clemson fans think about the matchups that these two teams have had in past years, it was the matchups that were, on home soil and on, enemy soil that are the ones that stand out, not necessarily the ones that have been played on neutral ground. And I know that we're scheduled here to see another one here. I believe it's 2023 in Atlanta. Which I guess would be Georgia's territory more so than Clemson's, with Charlotte being more so Clemson than Georgia. But I think, and like you said, we've got it coming here before too long. But it's going to be happening in the late 2020s. But I would really like to be seeing these two teams playing on a regular basis and doing it as a home and home. I know you got to do these big marquee matchups and that those bring in money. But you can get just as much money from the TV side of things to have two top 5 programs in the country playing at their home stadiums.
Yeah, I agree. I grew up with this game being played every year. So when they went away from that was just heartbreaking in my opinion. And I agree that it's a game that should be played on the campuses. But if we can't get them on the campuses right now, I'll settle for the neutral site games. Something is better than nothing, and I'll take something this year while we're waiting, to get back to playing in Athens and playing in Clemson a few times here over the next decade.
I am going to be the one to bring the pragmatics to it and squelch all the fun. Will be, well, if you're Georgia and you've got Georgia Tech and Clemson on the schedule every year, then that's pretty much your Power 5, and that makes for a boring schedule, and you never go out and schedule anybody else. If you're Clemson, you always have South Carolina, then you're going to always have Georgia on the schedule. Then who else are you going to schedule? Nobody else. It's all going to be FCS and Group of 5. So neither one of them is going to do that, and they shouldn't do that.
Well, I'll interrupt you there. Looking at it from the Georgia perspective, late in this decade, Georgia's already made a move to start scheduling 3 Power 5 opponents each season, understanding that, hey, we've got Georgia Tech at the tail end of the schedule each year. They want to get this game with Clemson happening regularly. But, you've seen Kirby Smart go out and schedule some really tough opponents, seeing that they're going to play Clemson and Ohio State in the same year, Oklahoma and Florida State, Texas. They've got matchups with Louisville and UCLA coming down the line. So I don't think that necessarily corners Georgia or Clemson into playing just these two, those two set Power 5 opponents, be it Georgia Tech and Clemson on the Georgia side of things, or South Carolina and Georgia on the Clemson side of things. I don't necessarily think that limits them as much as it gives them an opportunity to build on and build their strength of schedule around this marquee matchup.
Let's get to the 2021 game. So they haven't played since 2014. They played in 13 and 14 and split those two. One was really close, like 38-35, and Georgia kind of took off and left Clemson in the dust the last time they played, 45-21. I think Todd Gurley had a big night in that one.